Schoology has a wonderful assignment tool designed for collecting work that also gives you a nice platform for digitally conferring with your students. So I'm in a demo course, a practice course that I've created for myself. Anyone can do this. If you visit your courses menu in Schoology, you will typically see a list of the courses that you are a teacher for on campus, but you also have a create button right here. You can create as many additional sections as you would like. So I have a playground section, and to get to the point where I'm at, I've already used the add materials button to create various folders. You always want to nest your assignments inside folders. And I'm going to go into this folder where I've created a practice assignment for this video, and you'll see I have an assignment called Turn in a Google Doc. These different icons next to the items in Schoology indicate what they are. So this indicates this assignment is a quiz, this is for a media album, and this is the assignment icon. And to create an assignment, I simply used my Add Materials button, and I chose Add an Assignment. This brings up an area where I can title my assignment, type in directions, add in pictures, record directions, put a due date, category, and a grade. I've already done all of this, so I'm going to cancel this one and I'll go in and edit the assignment I want to do right now, which is turn in a Google Doc. I'm going to use this assignment because I already have some students who, quote-unquote students, who have turned in work. I am going to assign a rubric to this assignment, just to show off that feature as well. So I'm going to use my edit button here. And most assignments default to being created just simply as a numeric value, 24 out of 24 points. I'm going to change from numeric grading to one of my rubrics, and I will show you how to make a rubric in a later video. And I'll just use the journal rubric for this assignment. It's not going to fit great because this is just a demo, but it will work for now. And then I usually turn comments off on an assignment because students get confused and will sometimes turn their work in here. And now I will go ahead and save my changes. Whenever you create an assignment, it automatically is accompanied with a drop box. And I will show you a student view in a moment, but a student will only see their item listed in the drop box and whether or not it was on time. From your teacher view, you see all of the students who have submitted work and whether or not that work was on time or not. So let me show you how you can use this assignment tool to digitally confer with your students. I'll use JC's example to get us started. First, I want to show you how it looked like to JC when she submitted her work. I've switched over to JC's account, and she would scroll down to find her assignment, find the Turn in a Google Doc assignment. You can see she's already turned this in twice, but when a student goes to submit an assignment, it either says submit or resubmit assignment. They select the button. They have an option to upload a file from their computer to record a submission to you, or they can use the Create tab to access a rich text editor to actually type their assignment directly in, or they can go to the Resources tab, and if they have synced their Google Docs accounts, they'll be able to click the Google Docs button, and these are all of JC's documents that live in her Google Docs. She can simply choose one and then click Import. What this does for me as the teacher, it takes a PDF copy of her Mentos experiment assignment and puts it into the Schoology Dropbox. So she will not need to share this assignment with me. I will simply get kind of a PDF or Word version of it to view. If you do want to do some in-text commenting, then you will need to make sure the student shares the assignment with you. And instead of turning in a PDF copy this way, they actually will go to the Create tab if I'm collecting just the link to the assignment, and they will paste in the link to their Google Doc here. So a couple of different options there. I just wanted to see what JC's work looked like at a point in time, so I asked her to go to Google Docs and turn in. The story you'll see in a moment is she actually submitted the Louis Parker Thanksgiving is Coming story, and she clicked Import. So that's already been done, and then she can see that she turned that in on time. Now let me switch back to teacher view. So I'll go in to grade JC's assignment that she has submitted, her Google Doc. You can see that Google Doc, Louis Parker Thanksgiving is Coming, is right here. And I can't click in and edit or make comments inside this document. Again, this is just a PDF type version of the document at the time she turned it in. There are some annotation tools along the bottom of this document Dropbox viewer, is what I'm in right now, that allows me to highlight in our view. I can use the strikeout tool to mark up items I suggest she would remove. And then you can see I've already used the drawing tool a few times. I can put stars, I can write. This is not extremely easy to do with a mouse. And there is a commenting feature as well that lets me place a comment in the text and leave her comments. One thing you want to do when you're using this annotation view is to make sure to save your changes. When I want to mark up extensively inside a student's text, I will traditionally have them share their Google Doc with me. I find these annotation tools are easy to use for short commenting, but for longer pieces, I'd much rather be inside the Google Doc with them using the commenting tool. But it is an option for shorter pieces. What I typically use the assignment Dropbox tool for the most in Schoology is to have a little conversation over on the side. I can leave her written comments, and she can reply back to my comment. She can leave me notes about the assignment, so we can do a little bit of conferring here. But the most powerful tool in this Dropbox is my ability just to leave her an audio or video recording. I don't do the video, I do the audio. But this way I can talk my way through her story. So I just need to select the audio video record button and then choose audio. Typically here I'm prompted to allow Schoology to access my microphone. If you don't see the settings and nothing is working, you can right click and go manually to your settings. The tab that you really need to find, sometimes I land on this one, is the one with the eyeball, and make sure you have allow and remember selected. Then click close and then click the record button. And start making a sound and Schoology will record. So this is a very handy feature. You can talk your way through the student's essay. Fortunately, during my recording of this video, JC's draft has disappeared. So perhaps I'll have it open in another tab so that as I'm talking, I can record feedback to JC and talk about her draft. When I'm done, I just select the stop button and I'm able to preview my recording, and then I'll attach it. And I'll switch over to JC's view so you can see what that looks like for her. As much as I like the Schoology record tool, occasionally it is a little bit glitchy, and it did used to actually not exist. So I always have a backup tool that is kind of my go-to tool in situations like this, especially if I want to give students some audio feedback and I'm not in a Schoology Dropbox. So if I'd like to give them audio feedback, say in a Google Doc instead of written feedback, I'll use a tool called Vocaroo. In our course, you will be leaving each other some verbal feedback to blogs. And if you go into the blog tool, this is one of my blog entries, and I scroll all the way down, you'll see that the commenting feature in Schoology does not have the record opportunity right here. And similarly, if I have one of my students' Google Docs open, obviously there's no record feature built right in here. So this is when I use tools like Vocaroo and Record MP3. So to go to Vocaroo, you just type vocaroo.com into your browser, and then you simply click to record. So I'll usually have the student's paper open in another tab, and then I will go to Vocaroo, click to record. Again, you're prompted to allow the web tool to access your camera and microphone. We don't need camera, just the mic, so we'll click allow. And then I can switch over to the tab and talk my student through their paper. So I can say, JC, I really like the way you described this, why it happened. Maybe you could add a little bit more detail. What do you think about, how do you know that Mentos are heavy and float to the bottom? Do you have your data? Did you take any statistics to support that? And I can actually talk my way through her paper. When I'm finished, I'll just come back to the Vocaroo screen and click to stop. Again, I can preview my recording here.
And then I can switch,
which is really loud because my volume is turned way up. And then if I'm happy with it, I just click here to save it. I can download that file right to my computer as an MP3 or WAV file, which is really nice. My students will use this a lot when they're creating podcasts and just need to capture MP3s. But when I am conferring with students, usually I'll just leave it on the web. I will copy my link, and then I'll take it over and paste it either into their Google Doc as a comment, just right at the top of the page, usually if it's for the entire paper. You can see it becomes a clickable link. Or again, if I'm using it in Schoology because I need more than the 3-minute limit that Schoology offers me, or because the record tool is just being a little bit glitchy, then I can just paste that clickable link right into my comment. Click post. So now I have some audio feedback I can use when I'm conferring with JC on this project. Previously, I assigned a rubric to this assignment. So if we're past the conferring stage and I need to assign a grade for the assignment, I simply click on my rubric, and I can click through the indicators that best fit her paper. And this is one of the reasons I do like to use rubrics, because it makes it easy for me to grade efficiently while still giving my students some detailed feedback without having to write the same ideas over and over again. I still can click over here on the right and leave individual comments about things I'm seeing in JC's paper that are a little bit more specific than the indicators on the rubric. Let me click save. Now I'll switch over to JC's view of Schoology to show you what this looks like from a student's point of view. When JC enters her course and goes down to the assignment that I have been using for this example to turn in a Google Doc, she can see her grade right here at the top of the page. and she can see how she scored on the rubric along with any comments that I may have left for her. If she goes into the Dropbox where she has submitted her assignment, she can see the written comments I've left for her. She can leave me a written comment. She can see the annotations I've made on this version of the document that lives in the Dropbox viewer. She can see all my comments. She can scroll through. But better yet, she can listen to my feedback if she clicks on the Vocaroo link. Again, I'll usually train my students to start the recording and then switch back to the viewer so they can follow along. Or she can click the view button right here to listen to the Schoology audio recording.
And start making a sound, and Schoology will.
So there are a couple of options for digitally conferring with your students through audio. I found as an English language arts teacher, one of the things I was guilty of was developing such a grading shorthand so I could grade numerous essays fast so that I was giving students timely feedback, that my feedback was often indecipherable to them. And often I just found that in general my written feedback to them was overlooked. I have found that when I record comments to them verbally, that feedback is definitely more noticeable and more taken into account for the students. So if you can't get to all of your students in your writing workshop time, consider using a tool like Vocaroo or Schoology's Record tool to make sure that you're able to confer in some way with each of your students during that writing process.